Hey there, hello, and welcome to another Tuesdays with Tom. I'm Greg Asher. You know, we have a Facebook group, and it's called Assisted Living Administrators in California. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and check that out. We often get questions through that group, but it's really a great place for the group as a whole to ask questions of one another and network and get to know each other. One question, or actually a series of questions that came up recently, had to do with starting a facility. And one of those questions was about purchasing a facility, transferring the license, and how do you deal with the staff that you inherit as well as the residents that you inherit. So let's just tackle each one of those one at a time. Let's start with the staff that you inherit and talk about that. If you're purchasing an assisted living business, you're going to have your own business entity. You might be set up as a sole proprietor, a corporation, an LLC, a partnership. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. But when you purchase a business, you might be inheriting some of their employees. What is difficult for a lot of people to understand is that those employees will be terminated. That's part of the process. So make sure that you build a rapport with these new employees and give them the assurance that you're going to be operating the business moving forward with them in place. If you're not going to have them in place, you need to have severance checks ready to go, and it's probably good to have a little conversation with them. With regard to the residents that you may inherit, well, a lot of times that's why you're buying the business, because it's operating. When it comes to that, there's going to be some notification that needs to take place. And part of this has to do with the license portion of this question. But I would recommend when you're dealing with residents that you're inheriting, you want to get to know those residents as early as possible. So make sure that you have your fingerprint clearance ready to go, that you have an administrator certification, and all of the necessary things in place to allow you to work inside of an assisted living. So let's talk about the license. The question specifically is, what are the challenges with transferring a license? Well, there's three things you really need to know. And you're going to find these things out in Title 22, Section 87109, Transferability of the License, as well as in your Health and Safety Code, Section 1569.191. The three things that matter the most is this. Number one, a facility license cannot be transferred. That is part of Section 87109A of the transferability of license in the Title 22. It's clear. Transferability of the license does not exist. You must, as a new business owner, apply for your own license. So there is a process that you need to go through, and that is that you apply for the license within 5 days of your offer of purchasing the business being accepted. So that is part of the process. You have 5 days to apply for that license. Now, the license application timeline is going to be different depending on the situation that you're in, but you might want to hire somebody like Community Care Options to put together your license application. It's rather lengthy. Some of these license applications, when they're complete, can be upwards of nearly 400 pages long. So the time that it takes to approve that license, you might be looking at 2 to 4 months in most cases. So there's going to be a period of time there where you cannot operate that assisted living, and the existing owner needs to remain in place, or there's the possibility of obtaining a provisional license from Community Care Licensing. And when you do that, you are essentially operating with the previous owner's license, so that previous owner does not abandon ship, but they stay there and they consult and you operate the business. Second thing is that you must notify licensing. They have a 30-day notice. That's a minimum requirement that you must give them as a licensee when you intend to sell your business, when a bona fide offer has been accepted or made. You have to notify licensing as well as your residents and their representatives. You have 30 days to do that. So that's the second part to this process. And then finally, the new owner, if they're not accepted as a licensee, they cannot continue to run the business. So once that license is approved and everything is in order, that's when the business can finally transfer completely and you can operate your new assisted living.